Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Black Mirror Season 3, Episode 5. It's called Men Against Fire. Full spoilers for the episode, as always, and I'm going to reiterate full spoilers because I want to kind of mention something just as an overall thing. Last episode, it was kind of an uplifting story, which we kind of needed after Episode 3, and we joked that, oh, maybe the next one is going to be super dark to balance things out again. And I jokingly said at one point, Holocaust, it'll be a Holocaust. And
That's on the video as well, I believe.
yeah, it's in the video. I said that in the video, and sure enough, I mean, I don't know if you quite call it a Holocaust. I don't know the exact qualifications to call a term of genocide Holocaust, but there's certainly genocide going on in this
This
episode.
is very clearly inspired by World War Two.
Yes, yes, this is full on, yeah, oaf.
That said, I wasn't actually that much of a fan of this episode.
Really? Okay. it's probably my least favorite of the season. I'll give you that.
It's easily my least favorite of the season.
Um, it's my least favorite. I wasn't feeling the first half of it. I think I get a lot more interested in it once they revealed the twist, and then
Mm.
it was about like who are these people they're going after, why are they going after them, and that became a bit more interesting to me. But I definitely agree it's the weakest of the season.
I mean, another thing, I get the point of it, and it's well made, and I still like it. But I mean, for a start, war stories in general, war films, I'm not really big on them.
Hmm.
I don't typically enjoy them that much, and a lot of this plays just like a war film with a twist.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, we're introduced to Stripe, who's a rookie in this sort of this the army, but this particular subset. They're in an Eastern European country, and their job is to hunt roaches. Which again, we hear before we see them. We hear we hear them say the word, and we're kind of like, oh, it's like a zombie apocalypse kind of thing. You sort of let your
Mm.
mind wander. Although they are stealing food, so you're thinking not quite zombies, but something like a virus that's making them.
I was thinking, the mutants in Fallout.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. But the fact is even as soon as the episode started, and we get like glimpses of his dream of like the woman, and they talk about sleep in this weird way, where it was kind of like the last episode when they kept talking about the time and the
Mm.
2 hours left. The way they kept talking about sleep was making me think, all right, something's up with the sleep. Something, is going on there. And right from the get go, I didn't guess what the actual twist was super early, but I immediately got the idea that they're being lied to,
Yeah.
that there's something that they're not really aware of what's happening. And they go to this house where they've tracked these roaches, and we see them, and they're monstrous and have sharp teeth, and they're horrific. And Stripe takes out a couple of them, but in the process he gets this light shined in his eyes. The Stripe, not Stripe, the
The
roach
roach.
uh, has this device, and Stripe sort of looks at it afterwards, and it shines in his eyes. And throughout all this, we also see that they've got implants, which is a very Black Mirror thing now. I feel like there's like 4 or 5 episodes where people have things in their eyes where they can see extra stuff.
Yeah.
But that's like we see it being used for like tactic stuff. They see the map and they see like intel on the screen, and
It pretty much just gives them a heads up display.
yeah, yeah, essentially. And there was even times when they were going into the house where it was like a point of view shot going down the gun, and it was like this is a video
So,
game.
yeah, and it's clearly like a camera as well,
Yeah,
because, like I say, we see the first person shots.
yeah. So yeah, it's set up well enough. There's something about it that's not as engaging as the rest of the season so far.
Yeah, that's the thing. None of it's really bad. It's well made. It's got a decent idea, but at the same time, I just never found myself caring like I did in the others.
It's missing the spark. There's a spark of creativity that's just kind of because even though a lot of the ideas that Black Mirror has aren't necessarily new, like you've seen, you know, a lot of these twists in movies before and things, or at least similar twists, and but there's like a spark of creativity where it makes it interesting, where it turns it into something that's engaging and engrossing. You care about the characters or whatever. And Stripe's okay, but there's nothing really about him that
He's kind of very bland, almost intentionally so though,
yeah,
because he is part of this. Like you get the feeling that all of the soldiers are intentionally kind of almost blank. That's
yeah,
why the stuff's in the dreams.
yeah. And even when you see them sleeping, they're all sleeping in the exact same position. They're all rigid, looking up straight.
And they all have these twitching fingers.
Yeah. So yeah, and So we continue on, and his device starts malfunctioning, and he starts like seeing glitches and getting headaches, and they eventually like Stripe and Raymond, who's sort of like the main sort of his army buddy, I guess. She and him go out to this building where they think there's roaches, and they go inside, and Stripe encounters a woman who's scared and tells her to leave, and Raymond shoots her. And it's right there, I go, okay, right, they're not really, they're just people, right?
Yeah.
They're just people, and whatever, whatever they've been seeing is put in their heads, and Stripe's now seeing them for what they actually are. Because I was getting kind of almost Equilibrium vibes at points where the whole idea is they were going after these people, but they shouldn't be. Like, the people who they're going after are actually the ones on the right.
Yeah, it's not quite that far.
It's not quite that far, because obviously it's less political than that, in a sense. It's more... I mean, it's more like a Holocaust. It's more like a genocide.
Yeah, this is more just the idea of propaganda, essentially.
No, not quite. I disagree with that.
Do you think? Because I don't know. The whole point of propaganda is to make you hate the enemy, right? And it's to make you fight against fellow
No, but
people.
it's not. But propaganda is there to trick you. As they bring up later, the soldiers willingly accept this. They opt in for this.
Yeah.
It's more about dealing... It's funny that we've been watching Quarry, who's about a guy who comes back from Vietnam, because they talk about how everyone who came back from Vietnam who did like shoot people, a lot of them came back, with issues and needed therapy, and they were messed up because of all the experiences. And the whole idea is, in the line he even says that Arquette says to him in that room is, it's easier to shoot someone when it's the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was more like the themes that really were coming into this. Like, I switched from something like Equilibrium and went more to a movie called Gattaca. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have, actually.
Yeah. Oh, good. Right. So the idea that all these people are going after, because one of the big questions I had when the twist became apparent that they were disguising these people as monsters and they were taking them out, committing genocide, I was like, okay, why these people? What is this group of people? Like, I was almost expecting like a specific group, like to them for even to reveal that they're Jewish. If they wanted to go that on the nose with it, like.
Yeah.
But I was like, who are these people? And it turns out it's just people who, like, they've medically were more advanced, and they're screening people, and it's like Gattaca, because in that movie, as soon as you're born, they take a sample and go, oh, he'll likely have an illness by 35.
Yeah, and then say what jobs you're going to be suited for. And...
Yeah, and it's basically a class system based on how healthy they think you're going to be for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And it's a similar idea here where they say, oh, all these are the people who have all the diseases in their bloodlines, and we can't let them keep producing. And then they even bring up behaviour, their sexual deviance, and,
It's very much... what's the anime? It's...
Well, I wouldn't know.
Oh my god, I had it as far as it's an anime where it's a similar idea where they have machines that can detect if someone's going to commit a crime before they do it, and then sentence them before they commit any crime.
Right, which is even like a little bit like Minority Report, or even to an extent episode 3 of this season in a weird way. There's touches of that there too.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is as well. But just on a DNA level.
Yeah, on a mass genocide scale of like, these are the people who cause problems. And of course, the real themes of the episode then become, two things then become is is life about giving people the chance to be better than what you think they are? That's certainly a theme there. Like, if these people have a chance, maybe they won't be like this. Maybe, there's that one chance that they won't get an illness. Maybe you're wrong. Like,
but that's what's really interesting. Like, to give the episode credit, what I do think is interesting. It doesn't play it as these are the ones that without a chance. It's the fact that they can pass this on, and what if it gets stronger chances of these things as they breed? What
if like in a couple of generations the entire population is now part of this bloodline, and therefore
everyone gets diseases, and you're making the entire population more susceptible.
And of course, the other main theme here is because even. At the end when because Arquette comes in and explains everything, and he even shows them the video of Stripe volunteering and agreeing to these conditions, which by the way reminded me of I keep saying it reminds me of movies, but this bit reminded me of Total Recall. If you've seen, I won't spoil the movie, but if you've seen Total Recall, you'll know exactly why I say that. And so he even gives them the choice, right? You can either go to prison for what you've done, which I thought was even a bit harsh. Like, why not just let him go? Like, if he doesn't want to do it anymore, if he's not a soldier anymore, because it's not like some conspiracy. Like they fully acknowledge that all the soldiers agree to this, and their minds are wiped for it.
Yeah, I think it's more just the idea that he'd be leaving with the secret.
Yeah, but then you get this sense that the world that's like doing this is kind of frantically trying to make things better when it's not. Because the other big theme of the episode, of course, is when he's given the choice, or you can put the mass, what was it called? The mass,
Mass.
something. Was it just mass?
Yeah.
Mass implant, yeah. You can put that back on, we'll erase this, and you can go back to your business. And it seems like he does that, because the final moment of the episode, the final scene, is him like coming home. And he's like decorated, he's got his army uniform on, he's like, so presumably he's finished his time, he's finished his tour, if you will.
Yeah, because obviously we see him as a rookie, but when we see him come home, he's got medals.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's clearly served his time. It's not just he's been discharged.
But even when he gets home, the mass is still working, because we see the real life. It's kind of grey, there's graffiti on the house, it looks, not very pleasant. You don't really want to be here. But then he sees like this, bright world, and there's a big welcome home sign up, and the woman that he's been seeing in his dreams comes out the door, but she's not really there. And it's, I guess the main kind of theme there is like ignorance almost, and like avoiding the real problems and try to cover them up. That kind of idea.
It's almost like ignorance is bliss, but it doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah.
Because he'll never fix the problem because he doesn't even realize there is a problem.
Yeah.
So that neighborhood will never improve, because how can it if no one realizes there's anything wrong?
Yeah. And presumably it's more than just a neighborhood. Presumably it's a worldwide or nationwide epidemic that things are like this, because obviously this is meant to be a window into this world. And yeah, and it's fine. Like I enjoyed the themes it was touching on, and it did get more interesting when when it was touching on the idea of genocide. And there is some hard hitting stuff when he shows them the footage, like because we see the opening sort of fight again where he went and killed the two Orochis. We see that again, but with the actual view of him killing people.
That's one point I actually didn't enjoy, because so the idea is it was the doctor guy was doing it, right? And he was saying, right, you can accept mass and you can go back to serving and you won't even remember, you won't know any different, or you can go to prison. But in prison, he's like, but you'll have to live with this, and he just plays it, and it implies that he's just going to kind of play it on a loop as like a torture thing until he accepts it. And it's like takes away the choice of the decision almost, because it's like, how can he possibly live with that torture? He's going to break.
Yeah, I guess I just took it for what it was, that he was not on the up and up. He was someone who was going to manipulate and force him to do what he wants. I guess I just read it as that, so it didn't bother me so much. But you see kids being shot. When Raymond finds, because after the whole thing where we find out that he's not seeing the stuff anymore, like he hits Raymond and like tries to help this woman and child who are these roaches that she's hunting. And she gives him a lot of exposition essentially about and explains what's going on in their like hideaway. And Raymond like eventually finds them and shoots the kid. We see her point blank just shoot a kid, and the kid dies. And it was at that point I was like, yeah, of course we're seeing kids be shot. That's exactly what we were in for after the last episode. That was too happy.
Classic Black Mirror, isn't it?
Oh dear. But yeah, it was definitely the weakest one of the season so far. And I think I feel like the fact that we're kind of getting to the point where we're wrapping up this conversation and we're only like half the length of some of the other reviews is kind of telling you that it's not as interesting and it's not as intricate.
The thing is, with every other episode, I feel like it's some of the best examples of that theme I've ever seen. Yes. Whereas this, it feels like I've seen it better elsewhere. Countless. Look how many things we referenced.
Yeah, I referenced like 3 or 4 movies.
Psycho-Pass. That was that anime. It's just popped into my head.
There you go.
But there you go. Like, there's how many things we've referenced as probably better examples than this of that theme.
But we referenced 3 movies in an anime in that conversation that all touch on various aspects of this. Yeah, and I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's.
Yeah, there is, and it just feels like this is kind of almost it's generic almost in a sense for Black Mirror.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
But we already got 4 amazing episodes, so
that's what I mean. I can't complain too. And that's the thing. It's not bad. It's still like fine if you watch it. You're not gonna like not enjoy it yourself probably.
But of course, because Black Mirror is an anthology, I can definitely see myself like when I rewatch episodes, I might probably just skip this one
Yeah, I already want to watch episode 4 again, like right now.
So yeah, that's episode 5 of Black Mirror season 3. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. Were you on a similar wavelength? Did you enjoy it more than us? If so, why? We do like to hear. So yeah, we got one more left. The extra long episode, which is episode 6, will be tomorrow. So look forward to that tomorrow night sometime. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.